In the rolling hills of central Pennsylvania, Fort Indiantown Gap was conceived in the early 1930s as the United States struggled through the depths of the Great Depression and Pennsylvania sought to modernize its National Guard training facilities. Located in Lebanon County, roughly midway between Harrisburg and Reading, the site was chosen for its open terrain, proximity to rail lines, and natural barrier provided by the Blue Mountain Ridge. In 1934, the state authorized the purchase of nearly 12,000 acres of farmland and woodland to establish a new military training reservation that would replace outdated encampments used since the 19th century. Planning began under the supervision of the Pennsylvania Department of Military Affairs, with close coordination from the National Guard Bureau and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. The design called for a semi-permanent post capable of supporting brigade-level field training, complete with barracks, administrative buildings, roads, water systems, and firing ranges. Construction began late that year under the direction of Colonel Frank Tompkins, a veteran officer who emphasized efficiency and speed. Labor was drawn from local communities, as well as New Deal relief programs, particularly the Works Progress Administration and the Civilian Conservation Corps. Hundreds of men arrived daily by truck and rail, bringing with them shovels, saws, and heavy equipment. They cleared trees, graded roads, and began erecting temporary wooden structures that would serve as barracks and mess halls. The early camp layout followed a grid plan, with parallel streets and open drill fields set against the mountain backdrop. Each week, the site changed rapidly as new buildings appeared, water lines were connected, and electrical power extended across the valley. Local suppliers delivered lumber, concrete, and steel from surrounding towns, creating a steady flow of work that helped revive the regional economy. The first completed section, known as the cantonment area, contained dozens of low wooden barracks built to house the Pennsylvania National Guard during summer training. By 1935, the first units of the 28th Infantry Division, the Keystone Division, marched into the new camp for annual maneuvers. For many soldiers, it was their first glimpse of a modern military facility designed to replicate the organization and discipline of a regular army post. The Guard practiced infantry drills, small arms marksmanship, and vehicle maintenance using the new motor pool area constructed near the main gate. The camp's headquarters building, supply depots, and medical station were completed shortly afterward, signaling that Fort Indiantown Gap was ready to operate as a full-scale training site. Between 1936 and 1937, the project at Fort Indiantown Gap accelerated as additional funding arrived from both the state legislature and federal military appropriations. The Pennsylvania National Guard had proven that the initial facilities could support large-scale field exercises, and planners now envisioned a more permanent base capable of accommodating tens of thousands of troops. Surveyors extended the boundaries of the installation westward, incorporating new parcels of farmland that allowed for larger maneuver areas and artillery ranges. Engineers from the U.S. Army worked alongside civilian contractors to design improved road networks, with graded gravel surfaces strong enough to bear heavy trucks and tracked vehicles. Bridge crews spanned the smaller creeks and drainage channels, ensuring reliable transportation routes throughout the year. The Works Progress Administration provided additional manpower, and soon construction gangs were pouring concrete foundations for warehouses, motor pools, and maintenance sheds. At the same time, the Civilian Conservation Corps operated nearby reforestation camps, stabilizing the surrounding hillsides and planting trees to prevent erosion caused by the rapid expansion. These combined efforts gave the fort its distinctive balance between engineered order and natural landscape that remains visible today. The quarters and mess halls were standardized according to new Army regulations, each capable of housing a full company with attached kitchen and latrine facilities. The camp streets were lined with wooden sidewalks, and water towers rose above the rooftops to feed the new plumbing system. Electric lights replaced lanterns, and the central powerhouse operated around the clock to meet growing demand. During the summers of 1936 and 1937, thousands of guardsmen arrived for field training, bringing convoys of trucks, artillery pieces, and signal equipment. The sound of bugles and the rumble of engines echoed across the valley, as the soldiers conducted maneuvers on open fields that stretched to the foot of Blue Mountain. Military observers noted the efficiency with which the Guard could now mobilize and sustain itself in camp, a clear sign that the fort was fulfilling its intended role as a model training center. The community surrounding Fort Indiantown Gap adapted quickly to the presence of the installation. Local businesses in Anvil, Palmyra, and Lebanon provided food, fuel, and entertainment for the visiting troops, while rail lines delivered supplies directly into the heart of the camp. Newspapers reported steady employment for carpenters, drivers, and cooks, emphasizing how the fort's development provided economic relief during a difficult decade. By late 1937, the headquarters complex, hospital, and training school buildings were nearing completion. The fort's design incorporated administrative offices built of brick and stone to symbolize permanence and authority, while most troop barracks remained wooden for rapid expansion or relocation. Roads were given alphabetical and numerical designations for easier navigation, and the main parade field became the symbolic center of the installation, where ceremonies and reviews took place. The Pennsylvania Department of Military Affairs formally declared the project a success, highlighting its dual achievement of strengthening state defense readiness and providing thousands of jobs to citizens in the midst of national recovery. By 1938, Fort Indiantown Gap had transformed from a few rough wooden barracks into a fully operational military training center. The once quiet farmland of Lebanon County now bustled with trucks, engineers, and thousands of troops. Roads, bridges, and water systems linked every section of the base, while vast maneuver areas stretched toward Blue Mountain. The Works Progress Administration and Civilian Conservation Corps played key roles, balancing heavy construction with environmental restoration. As new facilities rose, hospitals, schools, motor pools, and the massive parade ground, the fort became a symbol of modern military readiness. The Pennsylvania National Guard trained alongside active duty units, mastering mobilization drills and large-scale maneuvers. Nearby towns flourished with new jobs and steady commerce from visiting soldiers. By the eve of World War II, Fort Indiantown Gap stood as one of the largest and best-equipped training centers in the eastern United States, a living monument to the nation's determination to prepare, rebuild, and defend. Subscribe to Battles of History, where every fortress has a story.